Hello everyone, welcome to our very first episode of What's Growing. Here we interview entrepreneurs whose startups are growing to make a change in our lives. So let us talk to our very first guest, Shaurya Mishra. Hi Shaurya, thank you so much for joining. We're really excited to know about your startup. So let's get started.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you for having me. Let me try to explain what my startup does. The company that I founded is known as Articulus Surgical. It's a company that deals and designs and works on surgical robotics. We design portable, minimally invasive robots, basically. So these are robots that assist surgeons in operating mostly in the abdomen and thorax region in certain kinds of surgeries, and they are very useful for the patients as well, because the amount of cut that needs to be made in a patient in order to do these surgeries goes down drastically. So therefore lesser blood loss, faster recovery, and lesser chance of infections. So that is what we do. We design surgical robots.
Got it. So basically, the doctors will be using that as an assistance in order to do their surgery.
Correct. Yes, that is true.
So in this case, I believe obviously the precision of the device becomes paramount.
Yes.
How are you ensuring that? And I see that to be a major friction point when it comes to adoption of this device.
Correct. So we use a lot of advanced and indigenously developed control systems and algorithms. And watchdogs to sort of make our device one of the safest in the market, right? And with a precision of about 0.5 millimeters, so that you are able to even do micro level suturings on capillaries and on very small veins inside the body as well. So yes, precision is of paramount importance, but that is at the core of our product.
So that till now you don't see to be any blocker as such when it comes to adoption by surgeons, because I believe you will be talking to these surgeons.
Yes, we are in constant discussion with surgeons, and yes, this is of paramount importance, but it's not going to be a blocker, because every new technology, when it is adopted, there will always be roadblocks, there will be apprehensions, but with the right amount of work and the right amount of trials, we can really make sure that this product is adopted in the market.
Who do you think is your primary competitor in this domain?
So there are a few. I think the major is Intuitive Surgical. Intuitive is a US-based company which manufactures surgical robots for precisely the same purposes as we are also doing. Unfortunately, their systems, although they are really good systems, they are quite a bit pricey. They're about like $2 million per unit, and because of that, their penetration into a slightly lower strata of healthcare, for example, let's say a country like India, is extremely low, because we are a very value conscious people, and they have probably around 50 or 60 systems installed all over the country. But for a country of the size of India, that is a very low number.
So price differentiation is another thing that you will be bringing. I also believe that there is some optimization in the size of the device that also you are bringing in.
Yes, absolutely. So price optimization is probably one of the biggest things we are doing. We're trying to reduce the price by at least 75%, if not more. When it comes to the size, we also believe that surgical robots need not be of the size of a forklift that it is currently, or the size of a commercial refrigerator. We are trying to bring that size down to that of a hand blender. So we are trying to make it extremely portable system, so that you can literally put it in a briefcase and carry it to the next site in order to be able to work. So yes, and we have our designs and we have our patents which enable us to do that.
Whoa, that will be a big change, I believe. So have you partnered with any of the hospitals currently?
So we have quite a few hospitals that we are working very closely with in a lot of metros all over India. We are also working a lot of smaller hospitals, because a huge portion of the market lies in tier 2 and tier 3 cities as well. And these are the people who sort of help us hone our product. They are the people who do early trials on our products. They are the earliest adopters of our product. So yes, there are quite a few.
In which stage is the product currently?
So currently we are in the development phase right now. We are creating the proof of concept prototype So in the next 2 months, we expect the first proof of concept proto to be out. At the same time, probably after a couple of months, we will also be raising a certain amount of funding in order to move ahead, because right now we are a bootstrapped startup. So yes, please expect a lot of action with respect to surgical robotics to happen in next couple of months.
How did you come up with the idea of surgical robotics? Like, were you always, into this domain and you were really passionate about this, or it came by some brainstorming session or something like that?
Yeah, I think surgical robotics is very close to what is optimal for me to work on, because I'm from a family of surgeons and doctors, and at the same time my passion is into robotics. I have worked in medical devices for a very long time. Lot of them involve core robotics. So this is where sort of the medical science and engineering come together.
Best
So
of
for
both
me,
the worlds
yes, it's
for you.
more like best of both the worlds for me. Yes, correct.
What is your, say, 1 year, 2 year, or 5 year plan going forward?
So we are planning to have the product fully released in 18 months.
Okay.
That is a very aggressive timeline for a surgical device, or for a medical device, in fact. But I think with the agility as a startup that we have, and plus the improving situation with the approvals, the regulatory approvals in the country, I think it's possible. And in 5 to 10 years, I think the plan is sort of to make sure that whatever we are doing, our vision of surgical robotics gets approved and percolated, so that we have it's lesser to do with market share and revenue and more to do with the adoption, I think. Let me put it that way.
Do you foresee yourself going B2C as well? Because currently, I think B2B is your primary focus.
Yes, currently the focus is mostly on B2B, because as with a lot of medical devices, and with probably every medical device, our primary customers are hospitals and clinics, right? But at the same time, we understand that the decision makers in smaller cities and tier 2, tier 3 cities are actually the surgeons. So yes, we do plan to market to them at certain point of time, but we will never become a purely B2C company at any point of time. We'll always remain a B2B kind of.
Okay. Tell me something about your team.
We have a pretty small and agile team. We are a team of 7 people right now. It's not a big team. We have doctors, we have engineers, mechanical and electronics as well, and we have a couple of interns as well. We believe in honing people at a young age, and yes, it brings a lot of enthusiasm and energy into the team.
But I believe you don't have a co-founder. Has that been a hindrance so far?
Not yet, but yes, I understand that you always need you will need a co-founder at a certain point of time. But having said that, you need to find the right fit person, right? So until and unless you find that, I will have to drive the ship, sail the ship on my own.
And what are the skills you're looking for in a co-founder? Just asking because maybe someone
So I
watching
think,
YouTube.
Yeah, I think passion for technology and passion for medical science is the first and the foremost thing that I'm looking for. Probably a good coder, because I am only sort of a part-time coder. I don't do a lot of software. And yes, I think in essence I would say a passion for technology is what works.
So, Shaurav, what does your normal day as a founder look like?
I think it's always full of adventure. It's the most easiest way to put it. Yeah, the work hours are long, but generally there's always a problem to solve. There's always a new challenge that keeps you going. So yeah.
Tell me about your most common challenge that you face.
I think the most common challenge is to prioritize what to do when, and
a typical product management challenge, I think.
Yes. I think that is pretty important to deal with. Time management and task management is probably the biggest challenge. Yeah.
On the personal front, Shaurav, tell me about your childhood days.
So I was born and brought up in a small city. I'm from Cuttack.
I've been to that place.
So my entire family is a family of biologists. I would say surgeons, doctors, and genetic engineers. So yeah, genetic scientists rather. So I was always pushed towards knowledge, lesser towards the grades, because I was never the first in the class. I was always third. then I used to come third. But I was always motivated by people to pursue knowledge, especially by my dad. I think that is something that has sort of become a part of me right now as well, and it really helps to be. I mean, and in addition, when you have a family of surgeons and doctors, so the dinner table discussion is on surgeries, procedures, and what happened, how is the certain case. So it becomes very, so it becomes ingrained in you at a certain level. So.
And what about your other hobbies? I believe that you do cooking as well.
I do
I was
like to
stalking
cook.
your
It's
Instagram when I asked you.
It's a fun thing that I like to do. It's a very stress relieving thing, and I also like to play a bit of guitar sometimes when time allows, and I like to play squash as well. But unfortunately, because of the pandemic, last 1 year I haven't touched it. So yeah, that's how it is.
Who do you look for inspiration?
I think you can draw inspiration from literally everywhere. Right? There's always something to learn from anybody and everybody. Right? But yeah, I think the most inspiring person that I think I probably cannot name one. Maybe I'll say my dad. I think I take a lot of inspiration from him. And even at the age that he's in, he's post 60, but he's still working with the same amount of vigor or probably more vigor than I work with. So it is something that I really appreciate, and I really want to learn from that.
And who's your, if I may ask, your favorite entrepreneur? Like someone you aspire to be, or maybe want to be like?
Again, I mean, obviously I would like to define my own brand of entrepreneurship, but I do appreciate things that a lot of entrepreneurs do. For example, what Steve Jobs did with respect to his vision of a product, not to settle with anything of a lesser quality, that perspective. Elon Musk, let's say. Yeah, I mean, you don't know what he's thinking or what he's doing until and unless he has actually done it. So there is a hidden meaning behind all of his actions. So and his view of technology is really advanced. To dare to go where nobody has really dared to go before. So yeah.
And what books do you read? Your normal genre?
I like to read a lot of. So I recently finished *Sapiens*. Homo Deus I'm probably going to start in some time. I like to read sci-fi a lot. I also like to read certain number of biographies. I'm currently reading *The Promised Land*.
I love that book.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, there is something about
It's kind of writing, very candid.
Yeah, it's very nice to read. Yeah, correct.
And if I may ask, what do you think is your weakness, and what do you do to manage it?
My weakness, I get distracted quite a bit. So at one moment I'm doing something, and the next moment I'm doing something else.
But it is related to the same line of work, or
not necessarily. Not necessarily. There are a lot of different distractions, and it becomes a problem if you have like 100 things to do and you are jumping from one to the next. So yes, trying to manage that in some sort of way.
Maybe you can meditate. I'm just thinking. I mean, this is just a suggestion.
Possibly, but sometimes being distracted helps. Sometimes being on your feet helps because you get you think from outside the box, right? So you go instead of having a straight approach to a problem, you think of 100 ways in which you can manage the problem or deal with it. So that works.
And if by chance, if the startup doesn't work, which I hope it doesn't happen ever, but if by chance it doesn't work, what is your next step? Have you thought of a plan B or something like that?
I don't believe in plan Bs, and of course there is always a chance that what you're doing will fail. But then you pivot and you try again, and you try it in a different way, and you try it in some other way. But having a plan B only distracts you from the obvious, where you need to be putting your full-time energy into this exact thing.
Yeah, Will Smith said the same. I totally believe in that. So I think I'm done with my questions. I prepared a lot of them. I think it was really nice talking to you, Shaurya, and I really hope that your startup does well, so that we connect again and we get more updates, more exciting updates.
Thank you
so much for your time.
Thank you very much for